Grey County.
Hi, and welcome to Rogers TV COVID-19 special programming. I'm David Shearman. Today is a day when we're almost at the first anniversary of the declaration of the COVID-19 emergency, and it's been quite a year. I think we'll all agree. But Rogers continues to provide as much information programming as we can, and we really appreciate having Lisa Taylor, who is the Executive Director of the Owen Sound campus at Georgian College, with us today. Lisa, welcome. Good to have you here.
Thank you, David, and thanks very much for having me on.
Now, I noticed you've got some lovely daffodils in the back. Are they real?
They are. I have some daffodils and some tulips are my wishful thinking that it's going to be spring soon.
Well, I think it will be, and I'll be talking with some of my other guests in other programs about the signs of spring that we're seeing, like vaccinations. But things are happening at Georgian College. It's been a very different year for Georgian College as well.
It has, and it's not quite as we have this conversation. It's we're just coming up to the 1 year when we suspended classes temporarily for a week to allow us to retool and switch from in-person to remote delivery, entirely remote delivery, and then in August switched back to having some hands-on learning activities taking place on campus, but with most of the theory learning still taking place remotely where it could, and we're still in that situation today as we speak.
So when you went back to in-class learning, what programs actually went back? Because I would think that many of the trades programs, for example, are almost all work-related, hands-on learning, are they not?
So the programs in the trades, the marine navigation and marine engineering technology, and in the health sector and in the culinary program, those programs all have a combination of hands-on learning in labs and shops and some theory classes. So the approach that we've taken has been to keep everything that can be online is still online. So even those students who are back on campus, for the most part, are still receiving some of their hours of instruction online and in a remote format as well, to try and minimize the number of hours that people do have to be on campus and exposed to other people.
One of the issues that I've talked to our Board of Education about is online access. Has this been a problem for the students at Georgian as well?
I think everywhere in rural Ontario and rural Canada, it's a bit more of a struggle than it is in more urban areas, depending where you live. We know in our region, depending where you live, a few hundred meters can make the difference between good access and not good access. But we've worked hard with people to try and make sure they have access or have access to campus if they need to. Early on, we boosted the signal, our Wi-Fi signal, into our parking lot. So if people really needed it and had no other access, they could sit in their vehicles in the parking lot to get access if they had to. And I believe some of the other institutions in the area did that as well.
I think you're right. I've talked to the parent of a high school student who found that the Board of Education did the same thing. And that explains one of the things I observed is that there were cars in the parking lot.
That's right.
That's a great thing, because it's served the need and served the students who do need the instruction to proceed.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. What else happened at Georgian College as a result of a year ago, let's just say, the closure? What other changes were made? Did you have to adapt your building at all?
No, we put some very strict, COVID-19 related protocols in place. So we still, as of now, are doing active screening for anyone coming on the campus. Has to go through a screener and answer a number of questions. We have an online app that people can put on their smartphones and use to do that, or they can do a verbal screening process. People have to wear masks And if they're in situations where the 2-meter distance can't be maintained in some of the labs and whatnot, where students need to work together in small groups on a piece of equipment, they wear a face mask plus a shield or other safety goggles protecting the eyes as well. And for the most part, group settings, the campus students are expected to be on campus when they need to be on campus, but it's not the social gathering place that it was a year ago still. And we hope that with vaccines and the rollouts, we can get back to that soon.
Have you worked with the health unit in regards to the work that you need to do to keep people safe?
Yeah. So our safety and security team at Georgian works with the health units for all of the areas that we have campuses in, and reviews our protocols with them. We also work closely with them at some of the campuses. If there have been students who notify us that they may have come in contact with someone or such, we work very closely with the health units to follow their guidance in each location.
I noticed that, for example, Grey Bruce is green, but Simcoe Muskoka is red, I think now.
Yeah.
Has that presented any problems for the college?
No, we follow as a minimum what the requirements are in our area. But for example, coming out of the stay-at-home orders in the second wave in January, part of that second wave orders had been for the colleges, for post-secondary institutions, was to reduce any in-class, in-person activities to a maximum of 10 people. And with the exception being in the health sector labs, and we have just maintained that throughout for the most part. When those sections, that was relaxed. In some cases, it made sense to combine things again. For a lot of them, we've just left it the sizes. We rescheduled everything and we left it as 10.
So it was really a logistics issue and an HR issue more than anything else for Georgian College.
Post-secondary education has been like many other sectors in that it's been a logistics issue from day one, and it changes rapidly, and we adapt rapidly to it to the best that we can.
Yeah, the ivory tower doesn't exist in post-secondary education, does it?
Not for colleges. We're boots on the ground.
Right. You touched on this a moment ago, and that was that students are not on campuses for social gatherings. Although it's been a long time since I was back in university myself, I know that part of the learning environment is the non-class, non-academic experience that you have over coffee in a pub or at a social event. I mean, these are how people meet people and get to know each other and develop community. Has that been changed at Georgian College?
Absolutely. I mean, it has for all of us, and people are trying hard to find other ways to be engaged in the college community, and so they have lots of activities going on at the college that are virtual, that people join virtually. But we all understand that joining events virtually, we've had one change maker in residence week, we have another one going on with a host of activities and other events and speakers that students can sign into and take part in, but it's not the same. So we do all look forward to being back in person. It's possible as we go back that some things may remain online, or some things may remain partially online or remote, but we all recognize that in person makes a big difference for people because of that, for the social aspect. Mm-hmm. At the same time, though, I would say, the fact that many of the programs have been able to be delivered 100% or mostly online has meant that there's actually more accessibility for some segments of the population that we serve as well. So for people who might have children at home or be caring for elderly parents or relatives, the fact that more of our programming is available online now, and all of our services for students are also available online, has meant that they're able to participate now.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the it's a downside upside situation we were talking about, not just the education sector, but other sectors as well. Medicine has changed. Doctors are now seeing people either using video or telephone, and other offices are now using conferencing systems that they probably never would have touched or used. Even our legal system is using Zoom. And it leads to some very interesting. I noticed, for example, this morning a judge had to declare a mistrial because he was caught with a hot mic and said some things that were not appropriate. So mistrial. So I guess lecturers at the college have to be very careful about those kinds of things as well.
That's right, and I think for everybody that's true. We digital literacy and awareness of all kinds of cybersecurity issues are becoming more and more important.
Oh, yes. I think that one of the, I won't say common, but more notable things is Zoom bombing, as it's called. Have you had problems with cybersecurity at Georgian?
No, but not that we're aware of. And certainly not that I've personally experienced, but we do all need to be vigilant about that, I think.
To be sure. This is one of the situations where many of the unsung heroes in all of this are the IT people, because they just go about their business, and we just do what they tell us to do.
Absolutely. And, that's the thing that we have to remember. We may not like all the online activity as much, but a few years ago, we wouldn't even have had that as an option. So
sure. Yes.
We're grateful that the IT people are keeping us functioning at this point in time.
Yes. And I'm sure they, if someone went into IT, say 5 or 10 years ago, they never dreamed that this would be the kind of result. But here we are.
No.
Which leads me to another question, which you may or may not be able to answer. Does Georgian have any special programs in the IT area, or is that found elsewhere?
We do have several programs in the IT area. They're not offered at the Owen Sound campus, but they're offered at our Barrie campus. So,
Sure. Well, just if anyone's interested in that going forward, that's at least a good little bit of information to know. What are you hearing from the community about the college and how things are going?
Well, I think it's the same. It's similar to what other sectors are hearing, is that, one thing that is remarkable is that people, for the most part, have been very patient and understanding throughout this whole experience, and also very resilient. There's no playbook for what we are doing now, even though we all had pandemic plans and risk management plans. They didn't really foresee this situation. I don't think a year ago, as we entered this, that we envisioned that we would still be doing it a year later.
I think you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
We're all learning together, and we've had to, just as provincial guidelines have changed and federal guidelines have changed sometimes daily throughout this, we've had to adapt and change the way we do things as well. And we really appreciate the patience and the resilience and the adaptability of our students and our staff and the community as we work through it. I think, as you've said, that in rural communities especially, it has highlighted the need for affordable and decent internet access, and that needs to be an infrastructure priority for all of us as we go forward. And as I said before, too, at the same time, while remote and online learning hasn't been everybody's first choice and won't be everybody's first choice going forward, it has allowed some of the people to participate that might not otherwise have been able to as well. So we're grateful for that, too.
How have your faculty adapted to online teaching?
It's been they have had to work very hard at doing that. And for some, it comes easier than others, depending on what area they work in and how much exposure to technology they've had. But I have to say that I have been so impressed with how faculty have embraced this. And not just faculty, it's not just teaching, but we've adapted all of our student services to be available remotely and online too, whether that's counseling or working with student advisors and whatnot. And our staff and faculty have been very patient and resilient and innovative in finding ways to continue making sure that our students can achieve the learning outcomes that they need to have in order to become graduates.
Great. Now, Georgian has a cohort of international students as well. How have they been doing in all of this?
Well, it's our international enrollment this fall and winter wasn't as high as it normally is, but higher than what we anticipated it would be, because there are challenges for students, international students, just getting here, getting visas, getting here. But for those that have, this is more challenging definitely for them to find their way in the college and in the community as well. It's just, I think it's just the experience that we're all having, and it's just exponentially increased for them as well. And, the college would generally provide a physical sense of space and belonging, and that's not really available to us right now. But for the most part, here in Owen Sound, Grey Bruce, we do have a very welcoming community, and the community has been very good to our international students as well.
Yes, I mean, I'm out for taking my dog for a walk, and I can see some international students. I can see people going up to the college, more recently, of course. So it's a good thing to see, and it certainly adds to our community. Absolutely. Was there anything that you didn't anticipate? I mean, the whole thing we haven't anticipated, but was there anything that you found to be a real challenge?
Well, as you said, I mean, everything has been just every day is a new challenge. We find something else that's a new challenge. But I would say it has also the ability with which we find positive outcomes and positive experience through this has really been wonderful to see. So, one example would be that a few things that happened as a result or coming out of this. For example, we have a Center for Marine Training and Research at the college that does a lot of training with people working in the marine industry, principally on the Great Lakes, but from around the world as well, for ongoing training for them. And so we had to work very hard with, all of a sudden it became very difficult for those people to get to us to do their training. And so they worked very hard with the marine industry and with Transport Canada to get approval to offer many of our certification courses in a blended format so that they could do the first portion, at least, of the course online while they might still be at their home base or even on the ship, and then just come to campus for the final portion and reduce the amount of time that they needed to be here to do that. So that was, and a year ago before this started, we wouldn't have anticipated that we would actually be able to get Transport Canada approval to offer those courses for that certification that way. So the whole industry and the regulatory bodies, everybody's worked together to find solutions. The other positive thing that's come out that's been recently in the news is recognizing what an important role personal support workers are playing right now, in caring for our vulnerable and elderly population. The provincial government recently announced a new accelerated PSW program that the colleges in Ontario are participating in, Georgian as well, and at the Owen Sound campus in particular. So we're offering a full credential that can be earned in 6 months instead of 8. on an accelerated basis. The first, the theory and learning part is be both remote and in person for a lab and skills work. And it will include paid work placements as well. And in this sort of limited one-time offer through the province, that for our the April and May intakes, the provincial government is providing the funding to cover the cost of tuition for students going into that program. So that's huge for both the community and for students.
Well, yes, Lisa, I've seen the ads in various media that anyone who wants to start this as a career path or take up this as a career path it's certainly this kind of offer does not come along very often.
That's right.
So it's certainly, if it's of an interest to you and it's something you want to explore, by all means, it's the kind of thing people should make further inquiries. And if they want to find out more, where do they find the information?
So the application for all those, all of the public colleges in Ontario coordinate applications through ontariocolleges.ca/PSW. We'll take you to the colleges that are offering that accelerated intake.
Are there, just out of curiosity, does this program require a high school graduation?
Yes, it is an Ontario College certificate, the PSW certificate, and so a grade 12 diploma is required.
You have to have graduated from grade 12, and that's something that. Which leads me to another question, and somewhat related. You can do upgrading at Georgian as well.
Yes, and our academic upgrading department has been throughout the pandemic and continues to be quite active and quite busy, and many people are taking the opportunity during this time to do that academic upgrading as well.
I wondered about that because so much requires that basic graduation certificate, grade 12 graduation. So it's a great opportunity. What will be changing or has changed at the college on the physical side? Has there been construction and reconstruction? And I mean, we've all got to know there's going to be change coming and it's going to be physical. Is that happening too?
Yeah, well, one of the really exciting things that we have going on at Georgian and in particular at the Owen Sound campus is that we are adding our own Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree program, the 4-year bachelor's degree, and we're busy working away on getting that ready to launch in September of 2022. And we're very excited about that. It'll be offered both at Barrie and at the Owen Sound campuses, and we're currently in the planning process for extensive renovations and upgrades of our health skills and simulation labs. Which will be a large project that we'll be undertaking over the next year to prepare for the fall of 22. By 2026, when all 4 years are in place at the campus, that'll be an increase of about 120 students, full-time students at the campus in the nursing community. So this is a great time for that. It's a response to an urgent problem. We need more nurses. The pandemic hit amid something that was already a critical shortage in the nursing field. Our population is aging at the same time as many nurses are retiring, and the pandemic's exacerbated the situation. We know that our partners across Bruce, Grey, and Simcoe counties estimate that they'll need to hire about 4,300 nurses in this decade. So through offering this degree program fully here at the Owen Sound campus and also in Barrie, students won't have to leave Central Ontario to complete this, because we all know that a lot of people can't leave. They have other ties and other responsibilities here that mean they can't go back to school to do this, or often they leave and then don't come back in the past. So we're really looking forward to that. Them being able to do all 4 years here. We will have state-of-the-art simulation labs they're in the design phase right now, and we're all eagerly awaiting instruction to get going on that. And when we can graduate degree nurses right here at Georgian College, everybody will win. You know, our hospitals and long-term care homes and our community agencies will all get access to those highly educated nurses. local and regional employers benefit from a community with a robust talent pipeline, and it's focused on keeping our communities safe and healthy. And, just adding that 120 students to our campus at Owen Sound, which typically is in the 600 to 700 full-time students, is a significant increase in our number of students as well. So we're really, really excited about that.
One of the strengths I found in this area in Grey Bruce is that it's not uncommon for people in healthcare to be nursing or working with the next generation, the next older generation. I have seen it countless times that people will say, yes, that was my school teacher, or that was someone I lived next to for a few years. And that's the kind of community building, strength of community building that sounds like it's going to be really good for all of us in the next 10 years, hey, the next 20 or 30. So that's right. Really exciting. Very exciting indeed.
Yeah. So we're very excited about that initiative and can't wait. I mean, and it's the degree nursing, but we already do run, we take multiple intakes a year of practical nurse, the practical nursing diploma students and the PSWs as well. So it's a large piece, servicing those health sector needs are a large piece of what we do at the campus here in Owen Sound. So.
Well, it sounds like it's been a very exciting time over the last year. I mean, I was thinking one of the things that you flagged for me was that in the marine industry, not just to go back briefly, is you do the upgrading courses and you do the certification courses that are required for those in the marine industry. You do certification courses in the healthcare industry as well. So
yeah. There's lots going on, and with power engineers and with everything. And if I can just get one last plug-in, is how much we appreciate how much the community helps us here with co-op placements and internships and work placements for students. And we have students in the trades and in healthcare and office admin, law clerk. Anybody that's interested in getting involved with that should feel free to reach out to us at georgiancollege.ca/hire a student.
Excellent. Well, Lisa, I want to thank you for joining me today to talk about how COVID-19 is affecting Georgian College. It's exciting, actually. So thank you for being here. And thank you, friends, for being a part of Rogers COVID-19 special coverage. I'm David Shearman. We'll talk again.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Hi, I'm Owen Sound Mayor Ian Body. To find out what is happening in our city, please watch our council meeting on Monday nights at 7 p.m. on Rogers TV.
City TV invites you to the Grammys pre-show party with Tracy Moore and Dina Pugliese, featuring David Foster, performances by J.P. Sachs, and Soul Power Choir and Northern Cree. The Grammys pre-show party, Sunday, 7 Eastern.